A lot of people ask me, what's a good closing ratio for a martial arts school? Well, when I hear or when I see somebody post something in a group, and they're a guru obviously, and they say they have a 90% closing ratio, the first thing that comes to mind is your marketing isn't working. Because every single person who comes to your school, and if you're closing them at 90%, well then you're not getting enough people to try it, to test it. And that means your marketing isn't being effective, because your marketing should be attracting people to your school who are on the edge this way or that way. You shouldn't be closing 90%. You should be closing around 60 to 65%. And then you know that your marketing is working. When a school calls me up or writes in the comments anywhere and they say, can you help me get more memberships? Do you know what the first thing I tell them to do? Say, get me your guest book. And they go, we don't use a guest book. I say, then I can't help you. What I want every martial arts school to do is I need you to have a very simple guest book at the front desk, so that when somebody comes to your martial arts school for the first time, you simply say, great, can you please just put your name in our guest book? And because I can tell if your marketing's working or if your sales is working. Because at the end of every month, you simply go to your guest book and you see every single person who signed into your guest book who was not a member. So at the end of a month, if you have, for example, 30 people who signed into your guest book and you've closed 28 people, then I'm going to tell you right now, your marketing isn't that good, because you need to increase your marketing. If in your guest book there are 30 people who signed in your guest book and you sold 5 memberships, you need to work on your sales. It's really that simple. But the martial arts school that tells me, oh, we do 30 contracts every single month, we have a 90% closing ratio, and only 2% of our students cancel. And I go, great, how long have you been open? They're like 5 years. I say, I'm like, do the math. You should have 1,800 students after such a short period of time. You're rich. But the fact is, I don't know how it is in your country, but in my country, sometimes those gurus don't tell the truth all the time. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to set up in your martial arts school, directly when somebody comes in, a very simple guest book, just simply with a name, your address, your email, your telephone number, and maybe something on the bottom, were you recommended to us from an elementary school or from someone. That's all you need. I don't need a signature. I just need to have every single month, I want to know how many test and trial students are coming to your martial arts school. When we know that, at the end of the month, we just add that up. We just say, look, we had 28 guests. Great. How many memberships did you sell? And that's how you determine what your real closing ratio is. And that's how you determine if your marketing's working or your sales is working. You want to have, believe it or not, a 60%, 65%, maximum 70% closing ratio. And the reason is, you want people coming to your school who never really thought about doing martial arts and never really thought about joining a martial arts school. Then you know your marketing is working. I would rather see 80 guests a month and 48 memberships than I would rather see 50 guests a month and 48 memberships. It makes sense. If your marketing is working, your closing ratio will go down. That's correct. If your marketing is working and you're selling less, then you need to work on your sales. It's really that simple. It's not that hard. So what I want you to do right now is go back to your martial arts school, print up a very simple guest book. Each person has their own page. And at the end of the month, actually tally up how many guests you had in your martial arts school this month and how many memberships did you sell. And that's how you can determine if your sales is working or your marketing is working or your marketing and sales is working. And now you need to up that. Okay, so let's start looking at a 60-65% closing ratio, because that's realistic. And that means your marketing is working and your sales is working.